because let's face it, how many hours do we spend on our phones? do we want to disclose? Our first podcast of 2026.
Yes,
Woohoo!
I know.
Is this the first time I've done a podcast with you?
Yes. So.
Well, hi.
Hi.
I mean, we've done lots of videos together, but not on camera together.
Yes. We are constantly about a metre apart when we're at work.
Absolutely.
Generally.
We spend a lot of time together. And we do the same job, essentially, don't we?
We do, yeah.
You and I work on the social side of things and content side of things, which is always varied, I think it's fair to say.
Yes.
But we want to talk about social media today.
We do.
Let's get social.
Let's get social
Let's
in
get
2026.
Did you know what? That's a really, I think that's a really great segue into
thank
something, you've done this before, clearly, into something that we've been talking about,
Yes.
about how it feels recently like there's been a lot of backlash against social media and people saying they don't use social media or they're coming off Facebook in particular. And that seems to be a focus for a lot of people saying, oh, I hate Facebook, I don't use Facebook. But it would appear that the stats say something different, right?
Yes, I think the stats tell the truth, whereas people may be fickle.
I think you might, I mean, we could end the podcast there. I think that's absolutely it. People are fickle, aren't they?
Yes.
And I think probably more so now. I think we can certainly talk about people's attention span. And I think, you know, moving away from Facebook in particular, I think TikTok's had a lot to do with the reduction in people's attention span, right?
Well, definitely.
Yeah, I don't think that's a question. But we've obviously dug into some figures, haven't we? And whilst there has been a reduction in the monthly average users of Facebook, it's been negligible.
Yeah.
It's like gone from 3.1 billion monthly average users to like 3.08 billion.
Yes. I think there's something to be said as well about how the different generations use different platforms. So I think we can kind of get stuck in our own sort of Gen Z thinking that no one uses Facebook anymore because none of their friends use it, or you know, kind of older generations maybe not being on TikTok. So you kind of get stuck in your own bubble and maybe hyperbolize a bit who's doing what, and maybe you don't even know what people 20 years older than you are doing.
There's a lot of hyperbole, and we were talking about this yesterday, weren't we? And you were saying that actually, when it comes to hyperbole, a lot of it tends to come from a negative place rather than a positive place, which is, I mean, I think that's the human condition, right?
Definitely, we're dramatic.
I mean, I know I am. Everybody in the office knows I am. I think, and again, you pointed on the whole generational difference, and I don't think it's going to come as a surprise to anyone watching this podcast that there is a generational difference between you and I. Careful.
Which way?
So, you know, you fall into Gen Z, I fall into Gen X. I mean,
do.
obviously the best generation.
I mean, I'm right on the cusp, though. Just before millennial.
But I think that is, again, a very important point of this conversation. And one of the things we're going to go into talking about is paid advertising on Facebook. And we were talking about this, and we were actually the demographic of the users of various platforms is, and in fact, actually, I was surprised at the age demographic of Facebook. I thought it was going to be an older age range than it actually is, because at the moment the highest demographic is 25 to 34, whereas TikTok is 18 to 24. Again, makes sense.
That checks out.
Having said that, I'm 50 and use TikTok a lot.
Yeah.
Although interestingly, I use TikTok, you use Reels.
Exactly. I don't have TikTok. I have it for work, but I don't have it.
So you get to see the content that I'm seeing about 2 months later. So on trend. And in fact, actually, no, I've got that wrong. I've got that round the wrong way. TikTok is actually 25 to 34, similar age demographic to Facebook. Instagram is 18 to 24.
Okay. The majority
which checks out with
users.
what we're currently talking about.
Yeah.
The point is, if anybody is looking at what is a viable way to promote their business. Facebook is still out there as a great way to market yourselves. I think it's also important to point out that there are 10 million businesses advertising on Facebook. However, I will counter that with that's probably a lot less than the number of businesses who are trying to be seen on Google. For example. And when we're also hearing that people are using social media to do a lot of searches rather than Google, okay, I think that's mainly referring to TikTok, but I think that is still the case with Facebook. I think with all search engines, with all social media, people are using them as a source of information. So if we've got that many billion people using social media as a search function, then it stands to reason that your business can make use of that.
Yeah, exactly. And they are all targeting, it's not 10 billion, 10 million?
10 million,
10
I think
million.
it was,
10
if I'm right.
It's not 10 million people targeting the same thing as well, or even the same age group. So whereas someone's business might be targeting a younger demographic, you could slide in there and start targeting 60-plus-year-olds for whatever service or product that you provide. So it's split up a little bit.
But I think it is, whilst that is broken down, I think it is important to bear that in mind when you are thinking about any sort of marketing, whether we are talking about social media marketing, whether we're talking about your website, whether we're talking about SEO. The important thing is to be aware of your competitors. I always feel I contradict this a little bit, because I always tell people to not think about your competitors too much. Think about yourself and what you do best and focus on that. However, I do counter that with you need to be aware of your competitors. And most business, let's face it, I'm not telling you anything you don't know already. Any canny business owner is going to be aware of what their competitors are doing. My point is, don't get hyper-focused on what your competitors are doing, because it can then confuse yourself and your message.
Yeah, and you start to lose a bit of your uniqueness as well.
Absolutely. Because the marketing industry for years and years and years talked about USPs. And we don't necessarily hear people talking about USPs anymore. And I agree with that, because I do not believe that there are that many unique selling points. I mean, take us, for example. We're not the only marketing agency in Hull. Do we do a different job to them? No. Do we do things in our own way? Yes. And I've always said that I think the unique selling point is who works for your business. But that is what you should be getting across in your advertising. Right? So you can cut through that, but you need to be aware that there are a lot of people trying to do what you're doing, and that shouldn't frighten you off. It should give you that focus on, right, okay, I need to think about this. How can I make sure that people notice me rather than them? And social media advertising is a good way of doing that, because let's face it, how many hours do we spend on our phones? do we want to disclose that my screen time is high?
My screen time is very high.
Yours is.
It's higher.
Yours is higher than mine, and I thought that was. I never thought that would be possible.
It is.
So that's something to tap into, right?
It is.
If people have got their phones in their hands all the time, use it.
Exactly. And you don't always know that you're being advertised to as well. I think, especially now on Reels, where there's sort of video ads, you're swiping and swiping. Sometimes I'll get 3 seconds through a video, and then the little sponsor thing pops up, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm being advertised to. But I think that's what makes a really good ad sometimes, is that you don't instantly feel like it's an ad, which I think is a little bit different to TV, like how we used to do, well, still do advertising on TV ads.
Absolutely.
It's very obvious that this is
and I think
advertised to.
I think what we're talking about here as well, again, to make a bit of a distinction, because a bit of a very on vogue thing at the moment, if that's not too Gen X of me to use that term of on vogue.
I'm joking.
Should I say on trend? There we go. Is influencer marketing, and that's that's not what we're talking about here. And I could go on about influencer marketing I don't like it much because, like you're saying, you know, there is a difference between not knowing you're being sold to and then being fooled into being sold to.
Yes.
There is a very fine line there. And I feel like influencer marketing has got to the point where it's taking the honesty out of marketing, and you don't know whether somebody actually does like a product or not, or whether they're just being paid to tell you that they like it. We're talking about the paid ads that come up, which, interestingly, how many people have you heard say, oh, I hate Facebook because it's all adverts?
A lot, yeah.
But interestingly, people still use Facebook as a platform for making buying decisions.
Yeah, I mean, the stats don't lie.
They don't lie.
What was it, about 30?
I think
39?
I wrote it down. 39% of people use Facebook as a place for making buying decisions. And what shocked us was the TikTok one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which was less. It's not much less. It's not much less.
Very close, but I would have thought that TikTok would be much higher.
Yeah.
Personally.
So 36%
Yeah.
of people use TikTok as a platform for buying decisions. I mean, I've used TikTok Shop.
I know what TikTok Shop is. I mean, yeah, definitely.
I got your Secret Santa present from TikTok Shop.
Oh, thank you. It's a good present. It was a good present. It's in my office. A little Mario lamp.
Boy, done good. And then Instagram at 29%. And you reminded me of something.
Yes. So there was a period of time, for whatever reason, that Instagram added a shop function to their app, to their platform. So there was a little icon at the bottom that I remember that was a shop. And I don't think it lasted very long.
And I'd completely forgotten about it until you mentioned it, but I used to use it in one of my previous jobs. So I worked for an online retailer, and we used to use Instagram Shop.
Yeah, but the reason you probably don't remember it is because I just don't think it lasted
so
too long before it was taken off.
I mean, doesn't it feel like everything on Instagram's a bit short-lived?
Yeah, it's a little
kind
bit
of
of an experiment.
I do feel like they've lost their way, bless them.
Well, yeah, but I don't think they know what they are as much as they did in the 2013.
No, Adam Missouri did. I think I was saying to you, wasn't I, that Adam Missouri did this video recently about where Instagram is now, and I think a lot of people were very confused by his mixed messaging, and you know, obviously a lot of people. And again, I think this does feature in what we're talking about. AI stuff on socials. You know, we don't really want to go into AI too much in this podcast, but I think it is really important for me when I'm creating Facebook ads for clients to not use too much AI. I think AI can be used to enhance images in this instance, but not create them. Yes. Is my belief, because particularly if we are talking about advertising, so much of advertising is about trust, isn't it?
And it's about getting high quality clicks from customers who, you know, they see your brand and they're likely to, you know, you want them to buy again, you want them to become a repeat customer. I think so much of that is about them trusting you. And I think as soon as, I mean, it's such an insane climate for AI right now. There's so many different opinions about it, but in my opinion, from what I think as well, as soon as I realize something's AI, I lose a bit of trust because I'm out. Yeah, I know, because you know that there's not a real human behind what you're seeing isn't real.
And I'm going to say, I mean, I am like hypersensitive.
Ah, because we're in marketing.
Yeah.
So we see it all the time.
But I feel a bit disrespected. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
If you can't be bothered to put that honesty into selling your service or your products to me, then I feel a bit, well, if you can't put the effort into me, why should I give you my money and put the effort into your business? Yeah. I'm sure there'll be people that completely disagree with that, but you know that we're open to that. I'm open to you being wrong. I don't mean it. I'm open. I'm open to conversation. Prove me wrong.
Yes.
But as a marketer, you have to think as a consumer, and that's whether you're talking about B2B marketing or B2C marketing. And I think there's so many things to think about when you're putting together any marketing campaign, but when you're putting together a paid social campaign. There's things that you need to think about. You know, what do you want to get out of the results.
Yep.
Who are you trying to speak to? How does that look, and how are people going to respond to that?
Yes.
And then how do you then convert that
Yeah.
to something? It's the age-old marketing funnel.
Oh, exactly.
Right? And that applies here.
Yes.
And if any one of those stages isn't properly thought through, the whole pyramid is going to collapse.
Yeah. You're going to reach the wrong people. You're going to get the wrong results. You're going to, turn people off if your creative isn't good enough.
And essentially throw money down a black hole.
Yeah, exactly. And at the end of that is just wasted.
Yeah, which none of us want. So I think it's probably a good idea to work through a little bit of best practice on how we can put together a good marketing campaign. So firstly, we've talked about who you're marketing to. So it's the same with any marketing you're doing, whether you're talking about your website, whether you're talking about SEO, any of that. We're talking about demographic, aren't we?
You need to know who your audience is. Yeah.
And Facebook can be set up. Facebook advertising can be set up to look at that. So you can look at the location. You might be a local business, but if you're a national business, and if you're a national business, you might want to be targeting certain areas, and you can set up separate campaigns for those. So again, you can then see those results, and we'll come on to results in a bit. You can look at age profiling. Again, the product that you're selling, it may well be that you're looking at people with more expendable income. So you're probably not going to be looking at the younger generation unless, I mean, to be fair, some 18-year-olds have got more money than I have, quite frankly.
More careless with their money as well.
Absolutely. But you actually made the point that when we were looking at the age demographic and the higher number of users of Facebook, the 25 to 34 age range are people who are looking to spend their money.
Yeah.
So it highlights it's a great platform. Using Facebook is a great platform for advertising to people. But we can also look at interests, can't we?
Yes. So the main umbrella ones I'd say are the location, the age, the gender. That's what you put in first. But then you can start to think about interests, behaviors, which include sort of thing. Behaviors would be something like, they're engaging in shopping a lot on Facebook. They're very likely to click the shop now button. Or for another client, we did people who are frequent travelers, likely to get on a plane to go somewhere else. And then interest are things like, for example, one of our other clients, Print 3D, they're targeting people who are runners. Specifically, though, you can get even further down to that, people who are park runners. So do this specific event. So interest sort of looks at what pages that they are interacting with and goes, okay, I can take that and then I can target your thing at those same people. But again, you can stack them on top of each other. So you can do people who are interested in running, who are also likely to click the button, who are also, above this certain age, so you can get really detailed with it.
However, there's a word of caution there, isn't there?
There is.
Because Facebook actually doesn't like that very much.
Facebook does not like that. Facebook wants to be able to, we never really know what's going in the background 100% because they wouldn't disclose that to us. But they have their algorithm. They want to, when you set a campaign running, it goes into learning mode. So that's Facebook's way of saying, don't touch this. I'm learning.
Leave me alone.
Yes, let me learn. I'm figuring out where to put your ad. I'm figuring out who to put it in front of, who's clicking, who's not. So it has to have that little bit of time.
I get a bit like that. Like, leave me alone. I'm figuring things out right now.
Yeah, I mean, definitely.
And then you'll be looking at what you want to actually achieve from that. So what is your goal? Are you looking at brand awareness? Are you looking at specifically promoting a particular product and wanting people to click through to that product and buy it? Which brings me on to my pet peeve. You know what my pet peeve is. When you when you've seen like that top and you're like, I want that top. That's exactly what I'm looking for. And this is why Facebook has shown me that top. and then you click on it and it takes you through to a homepage.
Yeah.
And you've then got to search through the website to find that top that
Yes.
Facebook has been showing you. So again, you know, if you do have a specific goal that you want to achieve, make it easy for your user to complete that goal.
Yes, exactly. If you're setting your campaign up for sales, make it easy for your customer to buy that product.
I mean, you know, any business owner wants it to make it easy for people to give them money.
Yeah.
So we've got brand awareness, we've got website traffic,
Yes.
we've got sales conversion.
Yep.
As just a few of the things that Facebook can encourage. I mean, you can even encourage people to call you or send you a message. You know, those are quite popular ones actually, aren't they? The contact forms.
Yeah, and there's even, it gets down to like if you're selling an if you're selling an app, but also for another one of our clients, we wanted to collect leads for them. So you can set up a really easy lead form where people don't have to leave your ad, they can just fill it out there, and then you can take all that data and put it in your mailing list, or there's lots of different ways.
Which, you know, maybe some people, I mean, maybe people do know that, but maybe people don't, you know. And actually touching on that, I think it's important to point out that we often get people asking us about boosting posts, don't we?
Yes, and the difference between boosting posts and setting up an ad campaign.
How do we feel about boosting posts?
I'd say that it's the little sibling to setting up a whole ad campaigin, definitely.
You're kinder than me.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say that's the lazy option.
Well, yes, I put it diplomatically, I guess.
Absolutely. Then obviously once you've decided who you want to target and what you want to get from those people, you then want to look at your creative, right?
Well, yeah. The big thing.
Which is, and to be fair, that kind of leads on from the point of boosted posts. You may have had a post that's done really well and you're really proud of that and you want to boost that out to more people. That doesn't actually mean it's going to make a good advert.
Yes.
Because there is a difference between a post and an advert, and how we would go about crafting that imagery. We wouldn't necessarily craft an advert in the same way that we would craft an organic post.
Yes. And they're the two titles, organic and paid.
Yes,
So
and we're specifically talking about paid.
We're talking about paid.
And the creative.
Because we treat them differently.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, for example, if we go back to like print ads in newspapers, there's a science behind it, isn't there, in how you guide people through your story and how you then encourage people to do what it is you want them to do.
Yeah.
And that's not the same thing as a post.
No.
Because a post can be displaying a product, for example. But an advert isn't necessarily about displaying a product, it's about telling people why they need it.
Yes, exactly. And an organic post as well could be part of your whole wider month's marketing.
And might not necessarily work out of context to somebody who isn't already following you.
Exactly. It might not work out of context, whereas an ad you might be running for a month straight, that one ad or a combination of ads, and you know, different goal.
I think compelling and compulsion behind that is a lot different to how you would look at an organic post, for example. Yeah. And then you're looking at, you know, do you want a video post? Do you want a graphic post? Is it just going to be a static one image? Are we looking at carousel posts? Are we looking at animated posts? And again, it's trying to decide how to best communicate the message that you want to get across. Yeah. And again, that you can look at trying different options and see what your customers are engaging with and what is getting you the better conversion. But again, that takes time and money.
It does.
So it's not something, because that then leads on to budget. You can't just throw £5 into a Facebook advertising campaign.
No.
Because it's not going to go anywhere.
It's something you have to invest in, for sure.
Absolutely. So just in case people didn't realise, Facebook works on an auction basis. Yeah. So, you know, which makes sense. if you were looking at placing an advert in a newspaper, if there was somebody who's got more money, well, obviously they're going to take more money off that person.
Exactly.
Or if you've got a bigger budget, you're going to take out a full page advert as opposed to a smaller display ad. And Facebook works exactly the same way. So if somebody's giving them £5 a day, they're less likely to get seen than somebody who's giving them £100 a day.
Yeah.
We're not necessarily suggesting that people should be spending £100 a day, but if you have got that budget and that budget works within your profit margins, then great.
Yeah.
Because you've got to decide how much is a lead worth to you. So, for example, we work with a lot of modular building companies, and one lead might be worth like £500,000 to them. Whereas if we're talking about a B2C client, selling one jumper, or a pair of socks might be worth 50p, if that. So you've got to decide on what your budget is worth to you. But at the same time, if you're looking at a lower end of the budget, then maybe paid advertising isn't for you. Now, that's not to say that Facebook advertising doesn't work for small to medium businesses. It absolutely does. But I think my recommendation is you need to be looking at around £20 a day and running a campaign for a month. Yeah, minimum.
I agree. And there are always different kinds of marketing that we can try if you are a small business that can't put that much into your paid ads. But like you said, it's not worth it to put in, £2 or £3 because it will spend your money. I mean, Facebook will take your money.
Oh, they will take your money.
But, they might be showing it while everyone's asleep.
Yeah, absolutely. And also that's the other thing as well is how Facebook spends your money depending on how you've set up your budgets and whether you've set it up as a lifetime budget, whether you've set it up as a daily budget, because Facebook will take your budget. And I think on lifetime budgets, it will sometimes just take all the money before your campaign's even finished. Whereas, a daily budget is a better way to control that. Yes. And know that you're getting a more even split. Yeah. Because once it's spent your budget, it will just stop. Yeah. You're like, right, okay, well, why is my ad not doing anything? Well, because your money's gone. So it is. So whilst we might set a campaign running, again, that kind of leads us into our next point, which is patience. Yes. Because again, whilst you're spending money and whilst this will probably get you more visibility than organic activity, it doesn't happen overnight. No. Which you touched on earlier, where it goes into its learning behaviour, and it needs to have that time. The thing is, you are spending money while it does do that, and we're very well aware of that. But you need to leave it for at least a week. Yes. Before you go in and start going, right, okay, what is my campaign doing? How is it running? Is there anything that I can do to improve this performance? But don't do that on day 2. No. I mean, the goal that Facebook gives you when you start a sales campaign, which is where you're wanting to make conversions, you want to be able to check out, that kind of thing. The target it gives you for it to complete its learning phase is 50 conversions. So you don't have to hit all of those, but that's what it sort of sets as. That would be the best information for me, is to get 50 people converted from this ad campaign you're running. So the learning phase is a significant part of your campaign, and sometimes it might not exit it just because you don't hit those 50 conversions. But it's something that you have to be aware of, that it's going to spend time learning. Yeah, what you have to look at, I guess the best way to think of that is not to think about that as your daily budget of £20 a day. Yeah. And my overall budget is £500. I'm just picking a number out the air because I'm not going to do the maths. But my overall budget is £500. Yes. What has that £500 got me? Not what has that £100 got me in the first 5 days. Yes, exactly. Yes, okay, you might be spending money while Facebook does its learning, but actually over that time, what has that ultimately got me.
Yeah.
And, it is for some people, it's not for others.
Exactly. And the good thing about that as well is that it does its learning phase. Say you did it for a month, but then you want to continue. It already has that information about your service and your product, so it doesn't have to go through that big learning phase every single time. You could run that campaign continuously, or you could run it for 5 months if you've got like a certain event on.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to go through that every single time.
No, because you can adjust your campaign, can't you? And you can adjust your wording, you can adjust your imagery, all of that. And, we would go in and manage that and check how that's performing and make decisions on, right, okay, well, this is actually doing all right. Let's leave this for a little bit longer. Because actually, it's the same with anything. You're going to end up with a peak, and it's going to get to the point, because this happened with a client that we had who had a long-running campaign, but after, they wanted this running for a long time, and they had it running for about 3 months, and it got to that point, and it had absolutely peaked. Because the message hadn't changed, the visual hadn't really changed. So we had to change it up, and we did change it up. And actually, whilst we changed the visual up, the message hadn't really changed. And it was like, but actually, okay, you're showing people a different image now, but people now know that you offer this service.
And it really depends how big your audience is as well. So if you're hitting a really large audience, you could maybe get away with keeping, some of the visuals similar. If you're hitting a very small audience, they're going to get sick of.
Absolutely. And also, the other thing to bear in mind on audience is that some audiences are restricted on Facebook. So there's certain things where you're not allowed to specify. There'll be certain audiences where you're not allowed to specify by gender. There'll be certain industries that you're not allowed to have any restrictions on at all. So for example, recruitment, you're not allowed to drill down for recruitment campaigns. However, you can in LinkedIn.
Okay.
So LinkedIn gives you a bit more option to drill down. So you can go in you can target people via job title and stuff like that. The difference with LinkedIn is that your cost per click is a lot higher than Facebook. So I think Facebook, depending on what, I will temper this with, it very much depends on your campaign and your demographic and how niche you are. But if you're looking at a wider audience, so a shopping campaign, for example, you can be expecting a cost per click of anywhere from like 10p to 50p. Sometimes higher, but you can get a cost per click as low as that. Whereas on LinkedIn, you're looking in pounds. 5, 6, 7, 8 pounds per click.
But
on LinkedIn,
depending on what you do, that might be worth it for you.
Absolutely.
That might be a high quality click for your business.
Absolutely. And I would say that there are some businesses who Facebook advertising is not appropriate for them, and LinkedIn absolutely is, but then vice versa. I mean, I don't want to be sold a pair of trainers on LinkedIn. I'd be like, what are you doing? I see enough rubbish on LinkedIn already. I have not come here to be sold a pair of trainers.
Not in the purchasing mindset.
No, absolutely not. There's Sales Navigator as well, which allows you to drop sponsored messages directly into people's inboxes on LinkedIn. But again, that will cost you some money. So, I hope we've given people a bit of an insight that there is still some value in Facebook. No matter what your next door neighbour might tell you about how much they hate Facebook.
They are on it.
They're on it. Trust me. They're on it.
Even if they're just looking at the neighbourhood group, they're just doing a little...
local
gossiping.
Local Facebook groups. But again...
you're on the platform.
While we're looking at those people moaning about the people that have parked over their drive, they've probably seen an advert for someone's business at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, more likely. And I'm also going to put an appeal out that people say that Facebook's full of rubbish. It's only the rubbish that you're putting on there. So if you want Facebook to be a better place, fill it with good content.
Exactly. Stop interacting with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's only putting in front of you what you want to see based on your own actions.
So, you are to blame for your Facebook feed, essentially.
You might say that. I wouldn't be so harsh. You are to blame.
We've definitely gone down a good cop, bad cop thing here.
I
really.
know.
That wasn't the intention.
Unintentionally,
Yeah, absolutely. I would like to say Izzy does also have a dark side.
But I wouldn't reveal it on camera.
Absolutely, sorry. I've outed you. So let's summarise. Have we summarised? Let's summarise. So we've got demographic,
Yes.
goals,
Yes.
creative, patience, and budget.
Yep.
I like the 5 main things to
Main
take into
things.
consideration with Facebook.
Yeah. 5 main
adverts.
things to know as well before you start.
Oh, and we should also point out, if you're running ads on Facebook, that's part of Meta, so they'll follow through to Instagram.
Facebook and Instagram, under the same.
But again, we can target that.
Yeah, yeah.
So, we can make sure that ads work in the appropriate places. There's lots of stuff to talk about. I mean,
there's so much stuff.
we could go on for years.
Yeah.
No, maybe not years, but
I don't know.
a long time.
With the updates that Meta makes all the time. I feel like
every
we could
half
go
hour?
Could go on for years.
Yeah, we spend a lot of our time trying to figure out where Meta has moved stuff to.
Yeah. We can go very deeply into your Facebook campaign or Instagram campaign, Meta campaign, and we can definitely do that for you.
So I hope people have managed to learn something or, have found us entertaining. If you want any more information about the services that we can offer on social media, whether it be organic or paid, visit www.eyeweb.co.uk and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, if you're on it, or YouTube.